Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So summer is nearly here, it's so exciting. I'm going to make some shell resin bowls. So these are the forms that I'm going to use. This one's got nice and crinkly dimples around it. This one's plain. I've kind of planned out the shells that I'm going to use on this one. And this one, I am just going to keep it quite simple. And I'll probably tint them both. Haven't decided which colour. And I think what I'm going to do is, because I don't want the shells to move, I'm going to make the 2 rounds of resin to place over these forms, and then just when it's ready, cover these forms with the resin. And just before the resin starts setting, then push the shells in, because otherwise they're just going to run off, and I don't want that to happen. I want them to be perfect little shell bowls. So without further ado, let me get the resin ready. Resin is mixed. Excuse the vessel. I needed a big enough vessel. All I could find is a popcorn bowl. Anyway, so I'm using, what's this resin? So many different resins. Today I'm using Krystal Resin, and don't know how much I've mixed. I think about 18 ounces. So for the elaborate one with all the fancy shells, I'm going to use just some alcohol ink, because I want the shells to be the star of the bowl. And these are from Michael's. This one is, let me put my reading glasses on so I can actually see what they are. This one is Mermaid, and this one is Eau de Piscine, which is a really, really light blue. And yeah, so I'm going to use those for this one. And then for the one that's going to have the plain shells, well, they're not plain, they're lovely, you know, but these are just going to go around the edge. I'm going to fancy it up a bit. So I've got Naked Fusions Luxe powders. I have, this is Tropical Sea, this is Moss, and this is Sapphire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of resin to these so I don't run out. Like so. I don't need a lot because I'm going to start with clear and then add these colours. Oops, nearly knocked the whole thing over. God, gee. There we go. Right, so let's begin with this. I'm using, by the way, so I've got on top of my plastic sheet, I've got my cellophane paper, because that'll mean the inside of the bowl is going to be super shiny. And I'm doing the old rope trick. And if you don't know what that is, I'll leave a link to another video below. So this will keep it to the right size that I want. And that can spread out. And the circles I've done are kind of, God, I hope my arm's not in the way, are approximately the right size of each bowl that I'm using. There we go. That's going to be perfect. I can add some more to this one. And of course, they're a little bit smaller, but they're going to drip. So that's that. I know I need to torch. I hate torching this because this paper literally melts away. Let's see if my heat gun. I'm going to use my heat gun to pop the bubbles. And, you know, they're going to sit for a while, so the bubbles will rise to the surface. So let's begin with this one. Again, it's not going to be in any kind of order, no rhyme or reason. It's just going to go with the flow. Okay. And then I don't even know if I'll use the moss. And then the blue. Summer is in the air. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. At least spring is in the air. So I can blend those a little bit. Just a touch. These are gorgeous powders, by the way, if you haven't tried them. If you order, you get, I think, 52 pouches, and they have lasted me so long. I mean, obviously I use the blues the most. Right. Maybe I do want some clear bits. I don't know, let's see what this moss looks like. I'll try a bit. If I don't like it, I'm not gonna add it. Oh, it's okay. I'll add a little bit. It's very light. You can see more bubbles have come to the surface. All right, and then that's enough for that. And then the alcohol ink, this one's simple. Oh, if I can get the lid off. Oh my God. It's resined on. Let's try the other one. I might have to change my mind on the colour. So this one, I'm just going to randomly drop drops on it. And oh, my lid is literally stuck on. I'm gonna have to get my pliers. Ah, it's resined. Come on, there you go. Okay, problem solved. And almost very similar colours. Really similar. But that's okay. I don't mind. I do have another blue up here. This is Bombay Turqoise. Maybe I'll just do a couple of blobs of that. Yes, dark for contrast. All right, the Bombay reacts completely differently than the alcohol ink, as you can see. The alcohol ink kind of resists the resin and creates these kind of beautiful cells. Okay, let's do some ocean swirls with the Bombay ink. Oh yes, lovely. Right, put that in one of those. I'm going to use my heat gun again. This is on a low setting, by the way. I'm going to watch these for a little bit. There is a gremlin. There's two gremlins. What is that? Oh, I don't know what that is. There's another one here. Maybe it's some powder I didn't properly mix. All right, so I'm gonna leave those for about 4 hours and then come and drape them over their shapes. And then we'll take the next step from there. When it's almost dry, then I'll stick the shells on. Thank you, we'll see you in a bit. My goodness, these set up much faster than I was expecting. So let's get rid of the rope first. hope that makes sense. Like I said, I'll leave the link to the video where I show you my rope trick. And then these are on cellophane, so I'm just going to move them aside. I can't believe how quickly these set up. It was like 3 hours. And then I'm just going to plop them on top. So this, no, what have I done? This was the one that's going to have like the fancy shells. And as you can see, that is going to eventually relax. I'm not too late. And this one is going to have the other kind of shells. So you will be very surprised at how these will drop. And I guess they're not going to be as deep as I thought, but that's fine. They're still going to be really pretty bowls. And I'm going to just take some heat over to help them relax a bit. Good morning, it's a bit gloomy today. All right, so they cured. I decided not to stick the shells in because they were behaving kind of just exactly like I said, that they would carry on dripping and it would be deceptive. So this one didn't drip as much. Obviously the circles shrank rather than grew, but I still like the effect. So let's just take this out. The other thing with the cellophane, it's really easy to get your bowls out of. There's that one. And then the cellophane just peels off really easily. And I'll show you if any bits get stuck. And I don't think they will on this. You just take your torch and melt them away. You can see the benefit of using cellophane is it's extremely shiny. So it leaves the inside of your bowl really, really shiny. So what I'm going to do is, this was going to have a ring of, I think these shells are called auger shells. It was going to have a ring of auger shells. Well, that ain't happening now. So I think what I'm going to do is use them as kind of mirrors to the spikes instead. Not exactly, like I don't want it to be exactly like that because I want the spike to be seen. So I'll probably just like find its groove. Same with this one. And how I'm going to do that is, initially I'm just going to use UV resin glue. So let's say this one's going to go, let's see where it fits nicely, in here. So I've got to make sure I can see the point at which it's touching. So it's touching around there. Get my torch ready. This is a UV light. Hold my shell. Shine my torch. And it normally sets fairly quickly, like in seconds. I'm going to go around the whole thing and do that. Let's see. Come on. Resin on resin, UV resin on resin isn't always the greatest, but it will eventually stick. And then on, come on, let me let go. So there, that's steady enough for now. So I'll go ahead and do all those. Once they're all stuck on with the UV resin, I am then going to take some clear resin, not from the very top, just from behind the shell. So it really sticks the shell to the bowl. And then on this one, again, I was going to do shells all around the top, but I think what I'm going to do is do shells just kind of randomly in different places all around, not the hanging bits, the kind of the side bits. You know, one might be up there, another might be down here, and just anyway decorate the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing, because it's going to take probably a while. And then I will bring you back and I will have the resin mixed, and we can just add the resin and they'll be done by tomorrow. Okie dokie. So what I did was I did put the little shells around. As I said, this one looked a bit naked. And so I put a ring of little shells around this one, which I think looks much prettier. It's weird looking at this angle, but I have to put it at that angle to show you what I'm going to do next, the next stage. But when it's finished, I'm going to display it with how it would be used. But for making purposes, it has to be upside down. I put it back upside down on a sheet because I'm going to pour resin over it. And then this one kind of looked odd. I started putting just little shells around it and it still looked odd. And then I took a look at it and I thought, you know what? This looks like a splash, like a splash in the ocean. And then I got thinking about it and I thought, you know what? I'm going to put sand around it and clumps of little shells. So all I did, and sorry this isn't on camera, but it's not rocket science. I just took Mod Podge, splodged it on and poured sand over. I masked the circle off and just poured sand over, let that dry a bit, did the same Mod Podge and put another layer of sand and then glued on these little shells. These are just glued on with E6000 for now, and I'm going to pour resin over it to secure all the shells properly and the sand. So there you have it. Very easy. So let's begin with the sand one. Resin's already mixed. And I'm going to go around the edge first. I've got 2 pairs of gloves on. This one might be a bit sticky because the sand is a bit greedy. Let's do this one. And this is a lot shallower. So this should be easy, this one. Okay. Now I'm going to spread out the resin with my fingers. Make sure it reaches all these splashy bits and all down the sand and over the shells. And take my time because I don't want to come back tomorrow and find that I missed a bit. There's nothing worse. And so this is easy. And I know what's going to happen is tomorrow, because I'm just pouring the resin on, I will have to take some scissors and cut away, like here. I'm going to have to cut away that clear bit away from the splash, and that's fine. I'm going to drag some of this over. That doesn't need to be that thick. There's some missing there. Cover all the shells. That's all covered. Oh, I've got some other things to show you just before I knock off this evening. Oh no, maybe I can show you tomorrow. Because when these are finished, I'm going to show you in the garden. We're going to have a little picnic. Get that sand off there. Oh, there's some missing. Let me scoop there. Cover that. I'm going to turn it around. Make sure everything is covered. Missing there. Plenty of resin. And as I'm covering some shells, I want to make sure I've got every shell resined and shiny. And remember, this resin is food safe. What I wouldn't put in it is like wet food. So what I'm going to show you tomorrow, like if I put wet food in, like say one I'd put a dip in, I'd put like a dip plate in one of them to hold the dip, but I would definitely put like dry chips straight in. That's not going to harm you at all because it is food safe. And this is Krystal Resin, and I only had just enough, exactly the right amount to finish this. All right, that's all covered. That shell's covered. All the sand covered. Those are covered. That's covered. And there's no bubbles because it's all kind of a odd shape. The bubbles don't get a chance. Okay. Now this one. Cover the base. I've had a shell fest lately because it's summer. There we go. I do want to show you a couple of things just quickly before we see the finished results, which will be tomorrow. I did make this shell mirror, which is absolutely gorgeous. It is on my Etsy store, and for some reason I've had so many people sending me messages about it. So if you're interested in this, look at my Etsy store. And the other thing I just did was these, bear with me. These cutesy little hanging things, seize the day. They're already signed on the back and they have their hangers. Life is better in flip-flops. And sky above, sand below, peace within. So those will be on my Etsy store soon too, once I get around to it. Anyway, we'll see you in the morning. I was hoping for a beautiful day today. This weather is so weird. Anyway, they've dried overnight. Here's the splash in the ocean. It came out absolutely gorgeous. The clear resin has dried over it, and it's made it actually like really, really, really sturdy. So love that one. You can feel how solid it is. And this one is just so pretty. Very, very unusual. Great for a summer buffet or a picnic. Ta-da! Just like that. Magic. Anyway, see how gorgeous? Fantastic. Perfect for the summer. Or you live in a beach house or something like that. I think I'm gonna have a piece. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.